down here live tonight with Chopper 10, and we do have plenty of company. Literally thousands of people are down here with us, eating and drinking and having a grand old time. Some have been down here since noon today. They were watching the arrival of those tall ships. Others got down here just a little while ago to watch the Mardi Gras celebration. One of the biggest thrills on the waterfront today was the arrival of those tall ships. We were right down here with the crowd this afternoon when they sailed into the harbor.
This year, there are 6 tall ships in all, the biggest parade of sail in Harborfest history. They are truly a magnificent sight to behold. Gazing at them, it's very easy to imagine what life at sea must have been like in the early 1700s when these tall ships were the masters of the sea.
I'm sure they had to be, pretty skilled people in knowing what they were doing, because, back then during that time, didn't have all the latest nautical equipment that you have now. So, they were pretty knowledgeable, I'm sure.
Excitement along the waterfront rose to a fever pitch today as the majestic tall ships finally came into view. Both the young and the old were impressed by their splendor.
But I think they're all just lovely. It's a very moving thing to see them, I think.
I think they're pretty.
You plan to go on board?
Someday.
Some of these graceful ships have been here at Harborfest before. The Young America looks just like one of the early woodcutters that used to sail off the coast of the American colonies back in the 1700s. And the Providence is an exact reproduction of the first ship in the American Navy. The Blue Nose, too, is also here once again, and so is the 90-foot Pride of Baltimore. And don't forget the elegant Eagle, a fantastic display of some of the most beautiful tall ships around.
The Coast Guard cutter Eagle is indeed a spectacular tall ship. Our Chris COHOON was on board this afternoon when the Eagle led the parade of ships into the harbor.
On board Eagle, all hands, attention to starboard.
It was a traditional Coast Guard welcome on board the tall ship Eagle. Honors were rendered as the brass came on board, and a shrill whistle or piping was sounded. The name of the Coast Guard cutter has been handed down over the centuries. Today's Eagle is the 7th such ship to carry on that Coast Guard tradition. The man in charge is Captain Martin Moynihan.
And this is the premier #1 sailing ship in the world as far as I'm concerned. So I consider that I'm just carrying on a long tradition of sailing not only in the Coast Guard, but for the United States and in the world.
There is a special pride among the crew. This is the showcase ship for the Coast Guard, and they don't take that honor lightly.
Ease your downhaul! Turn your sheet!
Orders are barked out to the 130 or so cadets who spend 6 weeks of summer on board the ship. Many are still learning the ropes.
And we're going to have somebody tending the braces and the sheets.
We teach people how to go to sea, how to be part of a crew, how to get along with your shipmates, how to follow orders, learn to be a leader, and learn to give orders.
The sails are set. Now it's a simple matter of catching the wind and riding into Harborfest. For Cadet Paul Wiedenhoff, this is one of his last sails on board the Eagle.
And it does give me a special satisfaction, there's no doubt about it. Because, I've sailed this thing for 4 years, and every time I get on it, it's like taking a trip into the past.
On board the Coast Guard cutter Eagle, Chris COHOON, the Daily News.
If you plan to head down to Harborfest this evening, your biggest problem could be just getting here. Cynthia Smoot has a report on how to get down to the waterfront without ending up in a traffic jam.
500,000 people. That's the crowd expected at Harborfest 82, and that can be a traffic nightmare. To avoid the traffic hassles, you can park your car at one of these designated lots like this one in front of the ODU Fieldhouse, then take the TRT bus down to the Harborfest. Round trip will cost you $1. TRT buses will also leave every 30 minutes from Military Circle. The last one to the waterfront leaves at 9 tonight, 8 p.m. on Saturday, and 5 p.m. Sunday. There are also free shuttle buses downtown. If you're thinking about driving anyhow, know that there will be no on-street parking, and offenders will be towed. Traffic officials say so far so good, but the big jam could come Saturday night. Their advice?
If they're coming to the fireworks tomorrow night, I suggest they come early and or take the shuttle bus from Military Circle or Old Dominion. It's the best bet going.
If you're still not convinced, TRT says it best. If you have a better way to get there, we hope it floats. In Norfolk, Cynthia Smoot, The Daily News.
If you think there was a lot of food at Harborfest last year, just wait until you see what Harborfest 82 has to offer. Irene Mayer says there's twice as much food this year.
Don't bring your diet to Harborfest. It's truly a food lover's mecca. You'll find everything from fruit to nuts, and prices are generally between 75 cents and $3. The star of the food show at Harborfest is by far seafood, and most of it is prepared right before your eyes. There was, of course, the usual assortment of sandwiches, soft drinks, and the not-so-soft drinks. There was an entire tent devoted to international food. At one booth, pizza lovers were challenged to eat an entire 7-pound pizza within 45 minutes for a prize of $100 cash. Then there were desserts. A favorite was this chocolate chip cookie ice cream sandwich combo. They've got it all, and everyone seemed to enjoy every single calorie-laden bite.
They call it Harborfest, but what they should call it is Harbor Feast. There's an awful lot to eat and drink out here, and to watch being prepared. So come with your appetite. Prices are very reasonable, and the food ain't bad either.
Irene Mayer, The Daily News.
Don Slater is out here with me, and we should really thank him for chasing away those rain clouds today. Thank you very much, sir.
You're very welcome. It looks like we could have a little bit of rain later on in the weekend, toward Saturday night or Sunday morning and during the day Sunday. But tomorrow looks great. Today is great. We've got a little bit of cloudiness. It's around 80 degrees. And get out here and enjoy it. It's beautiful.
Okay, thank you very much, Don. Terry, you don't know what you're missing.
I'm learning what I'm missing, and I wish I were there with you. Still to come here, a call for hearings on why local shipyards are losing Navy business. And the Vincent comes home. Details to come. Well, the question on everyone's mind, the weather for this Harborfest weekend. For that, we go, appropriately, to Harborfest, where Don Slater is standing by with Diana. What's it going to be?
Well, we had such great weather today. I really think that Don should be treated to a ride on one of those tall ships, don't you?
I think so, too. And Chopper 10 is out there as well. Maybe we can get a ride on that. It's beautiful out here right now. Temperature is lovely. Let's go ahead and have a live look from Chopper 10 and see what we've got out there as of this time. In fact, you might be able to see us down here as well. Here are our current conditions across Tidewater right now. A little bit of high, thin cloudiness, but mostly sunny skies, 74 degrees. Humidity is at 50%. Northeast winds are at 13 miles an hour. The barometric pressure is rising at 30.05. The low last night was 66. The high for this afternoon, a beautiful 79 degrees. Perfect weather for Harborfest today. Sea temperature is at 73 degrees at the South Island. We've got a low tide coming up at 7:12 p.m. tonight. Okay, we move on from there and look at what we've got ahead. Beautiful sailing weather, beautiful weather for just about anything. The parade of sail, of course, earlier today. Current conditions across the region, mostly in the 70s, a little bit cooler to the west of us, 70 degrees right now. You can see in Lynchburg, 77 degrees as of this time in Richmond, 73 in Newport News, 72 Hampton, 74 in Norfolk, and 73 degrees in Virginia Beach. A quick look at the radar, and what have we got out there? Nothing much. There's a lot of ground flooded that you're seeing on there. There's really no rain. The only rain that you're seeing is way out to sea. We move on from there and look at things nationwide. Widely scattered showers and thunderstorms across the midsection of the United States. In fact, one tornado reported over portions of eastern New Mexico. Some fairly heavy thunderstorms are expected across that region a little bit later on. For us, cold front moved through out into the Atlantic a little bit earlier today. High pressure followed it in. It's cleared our skies off. It's warmed things up. Let's have a look at our forecast. And a look at what we've got behind us. We've got a beautiful tugboat, especially with the water, the blue water it's emanating, and that's courtesy of Norfolk Naval Shipyard. Our current forecast, what do they have to say for us tonight? Fair skies. Lows tonight between about 60 and 65 degrees. A beautiful evening to take in Harborfest. Winds should remain out of a general easterly direction, easterly at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Then by tomorrow, it looks like we'll see partly cloudy skies. High tomorrow, again, a beautiful 80 degrees. Low tomorrow night around 65. Winds out of the southeast at around 10 miles an hour for tomorrow. Now, it looks like tomorrow night it should cloud up a little bit, but tomorrow, look for partly cloudy skies, 80 degrees. After that comes Sunday, and we've got a 40% chance of occasional showers and thunderstorms, 78. Monday, it looks like it'll be partly cloudy, 83. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're looking for a slight chance of some rain again, and 83 degrees. But again, it looks like we've got beautiful weather again for tomorrow. It looks 80 degrees and partly cloudy. This evening looks great. A little bit of high, thin cloudiness right now, and it looks like all the rain is going to hold off, and only a slight chance of some rain towards Sunday morning and Sunday during the day. So it looks great.
Thank you. You are a super weatherman. And Terry, we're still waiting for you out here. The real story behind Harborfest is the people who actually go to it. Howard Jaffe was one of them today, and here's his report.
You see all kinds of people at an affair like this, some of them pretty together and others not together at all. The thing about Harborfest is that since it comes along only once a year, people think they can get away with anything. Some will walk all over you if you let them. They come for many different reasons.
Yes, I want to take a ride on the sailboat.
Oh, sure.
Michelob. Sometimes they're not looking for any one attraction in particular.
Everything?
At Harborfest, people will wear most anything they can't eat. Very big this year are these things that stick out of your head when you put them on. They could replace wingtip caps. Well, this is where they all come from. What do you call these things?
Crazy antennas.
They seem to be the hit this year at Harborfest.
They are. They seem to be.
What do they go for?
$1.
And how many of these do you have to sell?
We've got 10,000. Probably sell them all today.
Now, the police understand all of this.
What can I say? It's Harborfest.
Already, thousands of faces, thousands of get-ups, and this is only day one. Harborfest has 2 more days before it's all over. In Norfolk, Howard Jaffe, The Daily News.
Well, come on down here. It's Friday night, and you might as well treat yourself to a good time. There's plenty of good music, good food, lots of entertainment, and Don Slater says the weather doesn't look too bad either.
That's right, Diana. It looks like fair skies for tonight. We got a little bit of cloudiness. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, high temperatures right around 80 degrees. This is great. I'm comfortable. As a matter of fact, I wish we could do the weather out here every day like this.
Are you impressed? I know this is your first Harborfest, too.
Yes, I'm very impressed. I look off that way, and I can see a hot air balloon that they're just blowing up. The helicopters, Chopper 10 is up there someplace. In fact, it's on the air right now, looking above us, and a lot of things going on. And a beautiful, beautiful day to enjoy it. It looks like it should be the same tomorrow.
You know, when you talk about Harborfest, there's a lot to say each year, but one event has to stand out above all the others, the fireworks. And tonight is the night. CATHY MIDKIFF is standing by live at the waterfront. CATHY, they look great from Portsmouth. How do they look from down there?
Oh, Terry, they were just terrific. I don't know if you can tell from now, but even though the fireworks have been over for some time, things are really cooking here. The fireworks earlier were just incredible. In fact, the creator of the event, Felix Grucci, just must feel a little bit like a proud father tonight because the crowd just received his creations with unquestioned success. They were just thrilled with what the show that he had put together. It was accompanied by musical selections from the 1812 Overture all the way to John Philip Sousa, and you can tell that the night sky is just as clear as could be, and the colors were nothing short of spectacular. So in case you didn't want to come down here earlier, here's a closer look. Tonight and earlier today, there were even more festivities that got underway where else but on the water, and you can tell there's still quite a bit of partying going on at this hour. But earlier today on the water, there was a mock pirate battle involving pirates, which were a kind of a commonplace occurrence during the Revolutionary War, and 4 ships who are docked here at Harborfest: the Pride of Baltimore, the Young America, the Mika II, and the Providence. And there's a look at some of the action from earlier today. And there was one problem all day long today, and that was congestion. In fact, if you're waiting for anybody to show up back home, they're probably still here stuck in the traffic. But there was also congestion on the water as well. In fact, boats of every shape and size have gathered here for the celebration. And tonight, in fact, there were reports that some of the boats were being piloted by drunken skippers. And so the harbor police are having a little bit of difficulty with that type of activity. But earlier today, Ava Hurdle was on the water, too. And here's her report.
What would Harborfest be without events on the downtown waterfront? And there were plenty, including hang gliding and water ski competitions. And there were the people who were given boat tours of the Elizabeth River in downtown Norfolk aboard the tall ships. But as we look from our vantage point, aboard a boat owned by radio station WCMS, pleasure crafts of all sizes, makes, and models had jam-packed the perimeter of the water events exhibition area, at one point blocking the way for barges and even other private crafts from getting through.
The Coast Guard, which has a responsibility for patrolling the area, admits there were more boats this year than they even anticipated.
The problems it creates is in attempting to keep a performance area clear for the participants in the various water events. Normally when they're participating in an event, they're concentrating very hard on what they're doing and not where they're going or who might be in front of them. And it creates a problem if you get a stray boat crossing the performance area.
He adds anchorage space is also at a premium. But aside from the problems, from what we could see, people out in their boats were having a good time. We found that some of the best shots of Harborfest can be taken from the air, but the most fun is certainly on a boat. In Norfolk, Ava Hurdle, The Daily News.
Oh, that's so true, Ava. But Terry, I'll tell you, earlier on this evening, we found a few folks who didn't want to stay on the boats. They were in the water and swimming around. And I'll tell you, the later it gets, the more of that kind of thing you find here. But it's still a great activity. And even though the fireworks are ended, as I said, there's still just quite a lot of activity going on down here tonight.
Sounds like a real great party, Kathy. We'll check in with you again a little bit later in the show. Thank you very much. Coming up, there's a chance of rain lingering about, and Irene will have details on the weather when we return. Before we say goodnight tonight, let's return to the waterfront. CATHY MIDKIFF is standing by live with an umbrella and a last look at Harborfest. CATHY, is there still anything going on down there?
Oh, Terry, I'm sorry to say the rain just seems to be getting worse and worse. In fact, the wind is even picking up, too. And I just checked around to look at the crowd estimates, and I'm afraid the only thing you can see is the backs of people heading out the gates. I think they think this rain may stick around for a while, so they're heading home for the evening. There were lines of hundreds of people waiting to get on the tall ships. Those are all gone now, too. The Up With People singers were supposed to start their performance at 6 o'clock tonight, and there's no word yet on how this rain has affected their performance. But after Harborfest is all over, the Harborfest committee will begin tallying up the numbers to determine how many people came to this year's Harborfest and how many they'll have to prepare for next year. And tonight at 11, we'll have a report on what is in store for next year's Harborfest. A lot of changes.
Okay, thank you, Kathy. Irene tells me these are scattered showers, so
they're all scattered right here.
Yes, it looks that way. You look very wet. But good job, and thanks very much. We'll check with you tonight at 11.